Hi there and welcome to this new video. So in this video I want to talk about YASnippet, which is a package in Emacs that allows you to define the custom templates. Now specifically with this package what we can do is, let's say that we are programming in Python, so this is like a Python file, it's a Python mod file. Then we can define a keyword like def, we can press tab and it's going to expand into a template. And then we can fill up the template with custom text. Like for example, you can say add, we can say AB, we can say docstring, sum two numbers, and then we can define implementation, return A plus B. So we define the function and then of course we can continue programming. So this templating system is very powerful. It works regardless of the mode. It works for Python mode, it works for org mode, it works for any mode that Emacs has, basically. And so it's a really cool thing that you should know if you want to use Emacs, if you like to use Emacs. And yeah, basically in this video, we're going to explore how to configure the package, how it works, what is the syntax that is used to define these templates, and all things of the sort. So as always, I hope you get some value out of this video and we can get started. So let's talk about YASnippet. So YASnippet is a templating system for Emacs. It allows you to type an abbreviation like def, and then if you press tab, the abbreviation is automatically expanded into a given template, right? For example, the syntax of the template that I just showcased is the following one. As you can see here, we have a bunch of metadata, a bunch of attributes over the template, like the name and the key. And the key is the sequence of text that you have to write before activating the template itself. In this case, it's just def. And then after this hashtag hyphen hyphen, we actually get the template itself, right? We get def. And then here we have these dollars with these curly braces and 1, 2, 3, and with 0. So 0 is at the end of the template where the cursor is positioned, and then 1, 2, 3 is how to move the cursor to get the different inputs. So basically that's the idea, and when we go into the sketch buffer, which right now is in Python mode, and I press def, now it expands, and here I can say the name of the function add. Every time I press tab, I go to the next curly brace. So first I go 1 with the function name, then I go 2 with the params, then I go 3 into the docstream, and then I press tab at the end and I get into the final template, which is the $0. And here I can say return A plus 0. So basically that is the idea. Now, how can we install it? Well, basically here I've showcased how to install it using straight and use package, which is my current configuration for managing Emacs packages. I use straight as a package manager, and I use package to declare the package and to configure the various variables and things of the sort. Now, in this specific configuration, as you can see, I'm actually running YASnippet only in Python mode. So I have a hook that triggers anytime I enter Python mode to enable YAS minor mode. And then here I reload all the templates, and here I also add this hook. So basically, anytime I enter Python mode, I'm going to set a local key with the Ctrl+C+Y to insert the snippet. Now, this is really not needed because by default, if you press tab, you can also insert that snippet. However, in my case, basically, when I do def, I can also press Ctrl+C+Y, and actually here it's not even defined Ctrl+C+Y, probably because it is Python mode. So Python mode, and then I press Ctrl+C+Y, and here it's gonna make me choose a snippet. So basically, when I am in Python mode and I say Ctrl+C+Y, I can choose a snippet, like for example, function, and then it's gonna trigger the snippet function. And here, of course, I can also choose, I don't know, like class, and then it's gonna trigger the class snippet, basically. So that's the idea. Now, a more common, a more traditional configuration would be as follows. So in this configuration, we don't really hook into Python specifically yet because we enable YAS global mode. So basically in every mode, we always have the YAS minor mode running, and so we can put the templates in any mode that we want. And so in this case, we would set a global key, so also Ctrl+C+Y, yes, insert snippet. So you can choose whether to go into a specific mode or into a general mode, right? So that's the idea. Now, how do we create a template, right? So the first thing that we have to do is we have to create this directory within the main snippets directory. So YASnippet, the package, by default, is gonna create within the .emacs.d in your home directory a snippets folder. Within this folder, then you can create custom directories based on the custom modes that you want to run your snippets on. For example, do you want to have custom snippets for Python? Then you create a Python mode directory within the snippets. And then at this point, you have to create within the directory single files. Now, each file will contain a different template, right? So for example, let's consider this template. Now, this template is called main, and the key to trigger the template is also called main. And as you can see here, this gives us the basic structure of a Python file. So we have the shebang, we have the main with the pass, and here we can add the body, and then at the end we have this guard to call the main. So this is like, for example, a typical snippet that we can define. So here we go, main, I press tab, and it's gonna activate, right? And here I can say, for example, print hello world, right? I can do this, and then I can execute this code, whatever. So this is the first one, so main, and then here you write, right? That's the idea. So that's the idea. Actually, here it should not be 0, sorry, it should be 1, because if it is 0, it's actually not gonna allow me to overwrite over this thing. And then at the end, I'm gonna say 0 at the end. So this is like a more, let's go into the .emacs.d snippets Python mode. Let me just change this main so that it is 1 like this and then 0 like this. So I've changed the syntax. So I believe that, yes, I've changed the syntax. Now I'm gonna go into the scratch. I'm gonna delete everything. I'm gonna say yes reload all, yes reload all, yes. Now I'm gonna hit main. Okay, now as you can see, I'm overwriting the text. Next time I hit tab, I go to the new line basically. And so here we go. So that's basically the idea. That's a better approach to do it. And actually here I can even remove 0 and just leave the cursor as it is once I'm finishing with the editing. So this is a simple template. Another one is for defining functions that we saw. Another one is for defining classes. So for example, here we can have the class name, if we do some inheritance, if we do some docstring, if you want to add some docstring, and the parameters for the typical constructor init, right? And here we have a simple template for a for loop, like 1, 2, and 0. Now, of course, the basic idea is that you know your code base, you know the code you write, you know the kind of structures that you typically encounter, and therefore you can customize this engine to your liking. In terms of usage, as I said, let's say that you are in a Python mode buffer, so you enable Python mode, then you want to reload all the snippets if you made changes, or in the config, remember, we execute reload all during the config, so like we are covered on that. Every time we load it, we also reload. And then at this point, we write our key value, and then we press tab. And when we press tab, we're going to expand it into the template. Now, this is very powerful mechanism, which I suggest you to get familiar if you want to program in Emacs, because it is really useful, especially when you know your code base, when you know your shortcuts, the things that you know you like to program. So basically, that's the idea. Quick video. All this material, by the way, is available on the Git server for my Patreon supporters. So if you want to support my work, there is a Patreon link in the description. And if you're interested in the testing of web application and of Linux systems, I have courses on Udemy. I am a teacher. This is why I teach computer science and computer security. So if you're interested in those topics, just let me know what you would like to see on the channel, if you have any specific request, and that's it. I hope this video was useful, and see you to the next video.